Welcome. Coral Reef Aquarium School, Basic. Today is our 9th episode and we will be talking about filtration and absorbers. Now, filtration and absorbers is really an area which is easier to get lost in. And the reason being is that there's endless of options and endless of methods on how to care for a coral reef aquarium. Now, for me and for this course, we will use the guiding principle being simple and basic. Okay, first part we talk about is activated carbon. I use activated carbon due to the fact that corals are toxic by nature, and actually repeated exposure to these toxins is allergenic to humans. So the activated carbon removes part of what the coral releases to water in toxicity. Even so, some of the algae are also releasing toxins which the activated carbon can absorb. Furthermore, benefits with using activated carbon is that it removes the yellowness of the water, so you get a more crisp look on the water, and it also removes some of the odor from the tank. In small tanks, I use activated carbon and put it in a simple filter sock, and in bigger tanks I use a reactor. Okay, second part, phosphate absorber. Phosphate is a nutrient present in the tank, and it's supplied by food typically, and it also comes from the fish waste. Now, phosphate, they reduce the formation of hard coral skeletons by hindering calcification, and typically we want our corals to grow, so we don't like phosphates in the water. And thirdly, phosphate is also one of the key elements of nuisance algae that is present in your tank. So typically we want as little as possible of nuisance algae, so you want to remove phosphates due to that. There are different types of absorbers for phosphate, and one type is the iron-based phosphate absorber, and it removes phosphates but also silicates. Now, one of the things with iron-based is that it is known not to reduce phosphates down to zero, which is actually good, because close to zero in phosphates, the tank tends to become a little bit unstable, and typically we want stability in our tank, so we want to avoid getting too stable. So I actually see this as a benefit. Same as with the activated carbon. In small tanks I use phosphate absorber in a filter sock, and in larger tanks I use a reactor. Okay, final word about filtration is actually that we need to mention the protein skimmer. A protein skimmer is a device used to remove organic compounds such as food and waste particles from the water. Now, working correctly, it will reduce the bioload in your aquarium, and that also reduces the production of nuisance algae in your aquarium. So there's good benefit using the protein skimmer. And I'd go as far as say that 95% of successful reef tanks, they run with a skimmer. So it's a very common thing to use for coral reef aquariums. But it's also, I would argue, it's not a necessity. So therefore, actually, I will start using, for the project tank, I will start using no skimmer. I will run without the skimmer, and later we will upgrade to it. So we will get back to the skimmer. And to me, put simply, I mean, there is the benefit with a skimmer that it reduces the bioload of your tank, or it reduces the load to your live rock. We will talk about live rock in the next episode. But actually, if you inverted, it is also a filter that provides you with a mean to increase the bioload in the tank. So you can add 1 or 2 more fishes depending on the size by using a skimmer. So it goes both ways. But let us get back to the protein skimmer later when we add it, with some more details on how it works and why. That said about filtration and absorbers, in our next episode, it will be the final episode on acquisitions. The 10th episode would be about live rock and live sand. And now we will do as we usually do. We will end this episode by tuning into the project phase. And in the project phase I present what we will do about filtration and absorbers. So I hope you stay tuned. Okay, so for the project part about filtration and absorbers, we will use a simple filter sock for our absorbers. For the activated carbon, I will use the Fauna Marine Carbel. This one I've used for many years with good results, so I'm satisfied with this one and see no reasons to change. And on the iron-based phosphate absorbers, I'm going to stick the Fauna Marine and use the Power Force. This one I've only used for 3 months, but so far successfully. So previously on iron-based phosphate removers, I used other brands. But for this project, those are the 2 products I'm going to run. The protein skimmer, we're going to get back to that one later, in later episodes. And that said about filtration and absorbers, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I also wish you a pleasant evening. And bye bye.